Hello everybody, welcome back to Bedrock Survival with Fix. We are finally back to the Guardian Farm. I say finally because it's only been like an episode, but during that episode, I spent a lot of time digging over at the brand new Big Dig project. I'm really excited about it and all that kind of stuff. But that all being said, I am very, very, very happy to be back here at the Guardian Farm proper. Time to put up a lot more building here. I think it's going to be a very cool episode. Again, we're just roughing everything in today. I'm just going to be putting kind of like what we've been doing, just cobblestone and stone brick with no real variation, no interest, nothing like that. We'll do all that stuff later as we come up with little designs and stuff like that. But for right now, I just want to have a nice giant exterior. So with that all being said, I think it's time that we break into some building. So, hey, we have a cuckoo clock now. I don't know if you can hear it. So what I'm going to do first thing is I'm going to jump into doing some of these rectangular towers over here. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a nature spot with a little walkway up here to get into this. I guess it's going to be kind of a house or something. So let's figure out the height together on this. You know, height on this is going to be really important because height is going to be something that I have to factor in this dome. It's kind of a second dome, right? Like there's the dome down there that houses the actual Guardian Farm and Guardian Temple and stuff. But then there's kind of this dome up here that's going to have a lot of cool stuff. So I need this to come up sort of over that dome and then go into the eventual sort of central tower that's going to go up there, right? I need to be a good bit higher than that on this one. So I'm thinking maybe this is kind of good. And you know what we could actually use here? We could use a little game rule action here. So let's do game rule show true. Let's do that. Okay. This new font is quite honestly still messing with me just a little bit. All right, let's go up to 110. Yeah, we'll do 110. It's an easier number for me to remember as I rough in all 8 of these towers and put these here. I think it's going to be really cool. Doing something like this is kind of nice too because I can do it at nighttime because it's pretty, as long as I sleep occasionally and keep the phantoms away, it's pretty generally safe. This is going to be pretty big. Look at, there's pillagers down there, there's a bunch of zombies. It's a mob haven over here. Yeah, I think it'll be good. This is pretty tall actually. You know, let's do this. Let's do this and then, oh, I'm up to 1 too high. Let's do this and then sleep and then we'll take a look from down below and sort of get a good gauge on where we're at. I should probably actually maybe bring a bed up here as well. Yeah, let's do that. Well, what do we think? Is that too high? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's good, actually. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite nice, especially imagining that there's going to be 8 of these going all around. Yeah, it should be good. It's going to be a really narrow building because I'm probably going to end up coming in a block for the cobblestone area. So that means this is only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only going to be 6 wide. Oh, not even. Oh, it's only 4 wide in this building. Yikes. Well, you know what? Student housing. Okay, well, sorry, students. Your housing just got shrunk to 4 blocks. It's all right. It's all right. It's gonna look awesome. This whole build is gonna be amazing. We'll do all the interiors. We're gonna mass do the interiors. That's gonna be the plan. We're gonna do all the interiors all basically at the same time, and it's gonna be a lot of copy and paste for the interiors. So maybe we'll do some live streams for all that kind of stuff because I do want to have like housing and all that kind of stuff for all the whole army and whole civilization that lives here, because the entire civilization, this entire I don't know what you call it, country or empire or whatever. We should write some lore on who runs this kingdom. They all live right in this building. There's no like exterior houses. Now, I think eventually what we'll do is we're going to put a city over there, like a snowy city, but that's in the far distant future. For right now, this entire country, city, organization, whatever it is, all live right here. So that's cool. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun putting this together. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I don't even know what's going to go here yet. That's part of the fun. Filling in these walls, I got all of them laid out. This is going to be really a nice expansion of this. And it just, I was just thinking about something that happened this week at school. And, Harrison, my 5-year-old, is autistic. And he's super smart. Like, jeez, he's so smart. So he has maybe a photographic memory or something. Like he picks everything up very first try. And but socially is a bit of a struggle sometimes for him. He sometimes has a hard time sort of responding to friends' questions, and at least in a timely manner. Sometimes someone will be like, "Hey, Harrison, do you want to do this?" And then he'll answer, but like that person's already sort of gone. Like he just takes an extra beat to process the social cues. And he doesn't naturally. It doesn't come to him easily to just say stuff like without being prompted or something like that. So I always worry about him at school, and he has an aide there who is really great, and she's awesome. She works really closely with us and everything, and she always says he's doing great. But this last week at school, and I put this on Twitter. If you don't follow me at Twitter, it's at Fixxitt412, by the way. And he I go to pick him up, and his TSS, that's the aide, says, "Hey, Harrison just walked up to a kid at school, another kid, and said, 'Hey, I like your backpack,' and without being prompted." And look, that probably doesn't mean a lot to you folks, maybe without kids or who don't know that much about like autistic kids or whatever, don't know my son, but that is mind blowing to me. I was so flabbergasted and so emotional about it. I could barely keep it together during pickup. I was like, "What?" He just walked up to a kid and said, "I like your back." Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And so I said, "Which kid?" And she showed me it was a girl, and she has like a fuzzy, it's a special backpack. It wasn't like a normal backpack. It's like a fuzzy rabbit backpack. And it's like, so it made sense that he would say like, "Oh, that backpack's different than most backpacks," I couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever been so proud of like anyone or anything or in any situation in my entire life. I even saying it right now, I just can't believe it was so great. I don't want to say I can't believe it, because like it's like I always thought he would get there, but just to hear that he just it's so awesome. I'm the proudest dad in the entire world. But anyway, I just I was just thinking about it today. I was kind of getting a little teary eyed and just so proud of him. He's at gym class right now, and yeah, it's just come so far. It wasn't all that long ago. If you watch my videos from back a bit, a while ago, it wasn't all that long ago that I was just really, really hopeful he would talk at all, because there's a lot, there's a big percentage of autistic kids who just don't like ever talk, and I think maybe some people don't know that, but it was really scary for us, that he may have to use like a tablet or something to communicate, and that was a big fear, because I think that would be a really hard life. And not only can he talk, but then he just comes up with stuff like that to say to other kids. And boy, that was a great day. That was a really great day when I heard that. So hey, I'm just really proud of my boy, and I just want to tell everybody. So excuse the ravings of a proud father, but yeah, it was a great day. Doing some work around here over the last day or two, and just coming up with some ideas and some things I want to do. For example, I want ways to walk around here. Obviously, you'd want to have pathways and stuff like that. And I was kind of thinking having this mostly open to the air, this immediate over the dome area, but with like sort of elevated, maybe hanging walkways, could be a really cool look. It could make the whole thing look taller, maybe. Also, I've been doing some real thinking about the palette. Obviously we've only used cobble and stone brick for right now. That's always been intended to change, and it's going to change, and it's going to change into warped. Warped wood is going to be the answer. That's going to be the color scheme, as well as dark oak for the sort of brown color. Okay. Reason being, I really wanted to use prismarine, but honestly, this thing is huge. The amount of prismarine that I would need. I would need to totally redesign this thing to be just an absolute like buster of a farm, and I would need to AFK here basically every waking hour. I mean, look, all of these roofs and stuff like that. Yeah, it would just be a lot. It'd just be too much probably. So instead, we're going to use a combination of warped wood. I was over at the iron farm where I did that one dome out of a combination of the different warped wood looks, which is stripped planks, the double slabs. I think that's it. Just those, but it was a nice. Oh, and also the mushroom stem, right? Like this. I forget actually what you call it here. This warped block, and they just work really well together. So I think that's going to be what we do, sort of for all the spires and all the peaks. It's going to be. It's a little bit more blue than I wanted, which I'm not sure will play well with the ice, but I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. And hopefully it'll be good. If not, then we'll redesign it then. But that's going to be the basic plan. But one thing I need a place here where I can really farm it. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab a backup of this world and slip into creative so I can really take a look around. So let's take a look around here. It's good to get backups. I sometimes neglect to get one on a really, really regular basis. I get one every 5 because patrons and supporters get a world download every 5 episodes. So I get one every 5, but I think I need to be a little bit better than that. And you know, just in case a bunch of hard work, especially for the amount of grind that goes into some of these episodes, you know. So I did a couple other things since this is an absolutely recent backup as of like 1 minute ago. I did add these things in the real world. I was just kind of watching Netflix and just kind of grinding, and I decided to start to add in a little bit of what this is going to be eventual walkways on the outside of a more narrow tower that's going to go up for actually all of these. These are all going to be real spiky. I just want this to have like just spiky towers all over the place. I think it'll be really, really cool. So I'm thinking, I'm actually kind of thinking maybe these little areas could be like tree farms. I don't think, it won't be that great. It won't be that great, but they're kind of set up in a really great location here. And I always planned on these being garden sort of areas, and there are 8 of them. So, I could do like 4 dark oak and 4 warped wood. And like, in 4 of these, I could probably have like 3 or 4 trees at a time. And plus, bone meal these days is not really a problem for me, given my salmon farm, which is, well, it's an ink farm, but it's so many salmon. And, so I'm getting lots of bone meal. So I'm kind of thinking maybe that's going to be the best answer, is just fill in these. What I want to do, though, is I want to come along the bottom, because you're going to see this from the bottom. I don't want that to be like dirt up there. So I think what we'll do is we'll do something like, would I want to go jack-o'-lanterns on the top? Maybe I'd want to go jack-o'-lanterns all around the top. So that would look kind of cool from down here, wouldn't it? I think we're going to do that. So I'm going to have to go to the end and get a ton of jack-o'-lanterns. And then, yeah, that would be cool. Unless, let me see. I know there's a backup, but it's recent. So let me see if I happen to have any jack-o'-lanterns here in my base. And then I'll know if I have to go to the end or not. Let's see. I think I may have a place. What would be organics? Wow. Man, wow. I'm good on COD. Okay. Snow. No, I have 74. That's not enough for all 8 of those. So, okay, I'll head to the end in the real world and grab a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the tree farming. That would be cool. Been doing some work here, and I think it's turning out pretty well. I've started to introduce the beginnings of some oak, which is going to play in dark oak, rather, which is going to play in quite a bit as we continue on. I'll be using this, as we get out of the sort of roughing in stage and into the detailing stage. And one of the things I decided I wanted to do here is I was watching Star Wars the other day, the original, the OG Star Wars, Episode 4. And, there's that scene where they're trying to shut down the tractor beam so they can escape. And Obi-Wan Kenobi goes, and he has to sort of go in this big tower over a big abyss. And it kind of, these things kind of reminded me of that, these big, like, power conduits. So I thought, well, it'd be cool if there was, like, a way that maybe repairmen could get up here. Because I think the lore that we're going to go with this is going to be one of the more ancient kingdoms in this that uses a kind of technology that was sort of scavenged from parts of the spaceship that crashed here. Now, the spaceship, main parts of it crashed about 9,500 years ago. Now, a lot of the spaceship actually crashed millions of years ago, but because the spaceship was basically hurtling backwards through time, right? That's kind of the lore bit. So, as people ejected out of it, the first people who ejected landed most recently in the past, and the people who waited till the end were strewn the farthest back through time. So some of the technology would have been here for quite a long time. So I'm going to say that the people here sort of harvested it, and they made these power cores, which is going to be kind of what powers this thing, whatever this thing ends up being. I don't know what that thing is going to be yet, but I think it's a good starter. It's a good starter thing, and plus using these white jack-o'-lanterns, I think it's going to sort of speak to like, oh, there's some sort of power here. I think that's a really cool thing, right? So okay, so that all being said, that's why we have this very unique and interesting, I think, outlook as far as it's very symmetrical. You got these beams going up. What I might end up doing, maybe is extending these beams, these things way up, like maybe up outside of the roof and have beacons on each one. I think I could probably get eight beacons in not too long. I don't think it'd be terribly hard. But yeah, that's the basic plan. So I like the idea. I like the juxtaposition of using, stone brick as sort of the main block here, but then also and wood and stuff, but then also you have some futuristic stuff. Like they had enough technology to maybe build the tech parts, but they didn't have enough to build, like, they couldn't build like plastic or metal or concrete, anything like that. They had to sort of build with what's around, and that's stone brick. So I think that could be a kind of cool thing. And also still continuing to imagine that there's going to be all through here, there's just going to be so much ice, just inside, outside, everywhere. There's going to be ice hanging off the whole thing is going to be completely frozen over. I think it would just be amazing eventually, but that's way down the road. But yeah, it's coming along. The other thing I worked out last night, I was waiting for my son to fall asleep, sitting in a sort of lazy boy by his bed. He was like laying there, and I thought maybe he was asleep, but he wasn't asleep because every time I tried to leave, he kept waking up. Anyway, I wrote up the timeline of this world. So I have that now written down. If you're interested, just hit me on Discord, and I'll let you know what the timeline is. Maybe I'll post it somewhere, because I was gonna wait and doll it out very slowly, like very dramatically, as far as the lore and all that kind of stuff goes. But I think I'm just gonna tell everybody, and then because there's a lot more stuff. But I wrote a timeline full of Inquisitors, wars, other areas, the Council of Events, I think, is a big player. Some kings, some emperors, all that kind of stuff. Because over the course of 9,500 years, there would be a lot of stuff. Think about the Earth 9,500 years ago, right? Like it's a lot different than what it is right now. So there's kingdoms and empires can raise and be destroyed in that amount of time. I think that's what we're really going to delve into here in the lore of Tovalyn. Should be a lot of fun. But regardless, you see I'm adding in this because I want this to sort of be connected sort of up to there. So I'll do this, and then we'll come back, and maybe it's almost time to wrap up. I feel pretty good about the progress made thus far in this episode, but I would still like to get this more closed in. It's still really wide open, and it looks cool from here. It looks cool from the aerial view, but where it doesn't really pull off quite as well is actually sort of from the ground view. Like if you look up here, you can just see how incredibly much there is to do. Like you got these nice towers stick up here, but then there's like nothing in between. So that's kind of the area that I'd like to work on lastly today, and at least put up a framework, if nothing else. It's like, look at this here. Look at this dead area right in here. There's just nothing. It's just nothing at all. So understanding that I'm going to have probably some sort of way in here to all of these sort of areas means I don't know that I necessarily need a walkway, because I have this walkway over here too. This actually, I just got enough jack-o'-lanterns. These are the last two that aren't filled in yet. I guess I could do that at some point as well. But I'm thinking maybe let's just fill in like this area right here and figure out exactly where that's going to be. So what I'm thinking that we go across here, something like this. We'll go out to about, well, maybe the edge. Let's go out right to the edge of this, right there. And then we go 1, 2, 3. And then this is where I want to be open. So that means we'll go 1 more, 4, because this will be the wall. So then let's do kind of a, like a semicircle here. So we'll do, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we'll come in 1, 2, 3, and then come in 1, 2. This should be good. That's the one. Wait a second. Wait, so that's 3, that's 2, that's 1. Now this is already going to be 2. Okay, now we're going to do the same on the other side. Did a couple other quality of life things late last night. I brought an ender chest over here and put it right by the Guardian farm, so that way if I am AFKing, I can hold my looting sword while the Trident Killer is killing them. Usually I have the Trident Killer off here in this area, but if I remember to AFK, remembering to AFK is by far my hardest problem. Oh, by the way, it's very early in the morning. I am really enjoying some morning coffee here. But yeah, I have this area here, and I think this is going to turn out really cool. I'm really happy, like really happy that I'm bringing in the dark oak. And like, not that this was ever intended to be like a grayscale build, a la what I'm doing over in Vasten. That was never sort of the point. But I've been roughing in so much that just bringing in this little bit of color, even though the color is brown, which is, not the most colorful color, but it's wow, is it a breath of fresh air. So I am going to be using this a lot more to sort of dictate where the paths are and things like that. Just to really point out that, oh, this is a walking path. Maybe it's been, it's been repaired a lot or whatever over the decades, or, this, or centuries even, perhaps. So I thought what would be fun, I know I talked about this in an earlier clip today, but I kind of slept on it, and I was thinking that it would be fun to sort of go through the timeline with you guys just verbally, and let you know basically the history of this world and exactly what happened. Now, I know I've talked about this on live streams a lot and about how where the spaceship, how it hurtled back through time and stuff, but I actually have dates and things now. So I'm planning on getting, especially in season 2 of this, or the rebrand, RTX Survival after episode 200. I'm planning on getting much deeper into the lore situation and leaving a crap ton of books. So I actually spent some time writing lore of why there are books everywhere. It's not just random. It's not just random. Like, oh, there are books telling histories. Like, it's actually for a purpose. So I thought, well, let me read through that sort of ideology that I have written down here. Oh crap, is this supposed to be? Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, all right. Let me read through that, and then we'll talk and discuss the rest of this build. Okay, you're just gonna look at me, and I'm gonna put some text up here on the screen. So 8 million years ago is when the Sheriff finally crashed on this planet. Now, it was hurtled back through time from present day, which is the year zero, basically, right? So from the year zero, when the experiment happened, the Sheriff got hurtled back through time, and as it's going back through time, escape pods are going out, and the first escape pods to go out landed the closest to history because it's going backwards in time, and then the last one out was actually Captain Helena Ramirez, played by our great Drama Smith Gaming in the Lore of Tovalyn episodes, who's a wonderful YouTuber and wonderful builder. Captain at minus, so I'm just calling this minus from the year zero, minus 9,543. Captain Ramirez crashes her escape pod, leaving an initial log and enters suspended animation. So a big key part of this is essential personnel, meaning bridge crew, not everybody, but like bridge crew, basically people who are actors in my series, they're all going to have suspended animation pods, so they can be leaving logs throughout history. That's going to be kind of the lore bit, okay? Minus 8,411. The rest of the bridge crew lands in escape pods. They bring Captain Ramirez out of suspended animation, and they set up a camp altogether, okay? For 3 years, the camp flourishes, and camp's first child is born between two officers, kind of buying into hey, you know what, we're not leaving, we're here, right? Captain Ramirez re-enters suspended animation 4 years, basically, after they woke her up to await more crew, being that there aren't very many, and here's another key. The suspended animation pods are linked to each person, so she can't... no one else can go into her pod. She's the only one who can go into her pod. So, next, minus 8,400, minus 8,119, Captain Ramirez is awakened when more escape pods land. So these are people who left a little bit earlier than the bridge crew. The almost last to leave the Sheriff. She finds a city. Now this is, let's see, this is 400 years, roughly, or 300 years roughly after the bridge crew lands and sets up camp. So in 300 years, that bridge crew has turned into a city. So Captain Ramirez is awakened when more escape pods find. She finds a city currently at war with another city. So there are full cities and they're already at war. Many descendants of the first crew broke and formed their own tribal culture. So that's going to lead to me getting to build a tribal kingdom somewhere. Minus 7,054. Captain Ramirez woke awakened to find nothing. Now she just set her timer, right? But more escape pods are incoming. The entire kingdom of New Light, which is a destroyed kingdom. It's not even in this world anymore. It's gone. It's destroyed. She stays awake for 5 years to establish a new camp with the 34 crew members who crashed on Tovalyn and re-enter suspended animation 5 years after waking up. So The first kingdom is already gone. Like, it's completely gone. Maybe they left. Maybe they're all killed. Disease, aliens, who knows what. Now this is 3,000 years later. Commander Merrick crashes. This is a first mate. His pod was malfunctioning and traveled off course. He is discovered by a group calling themselves the Council of Events, which is what we talked about in our last book. They're keeping records of all events of Tovalyn. They describe wars that are fought over each escape pod as technology is exceedingly rare. They hide Commander Merrick's pod as he enters suspend animation. Now, 1,500 years later, the Great Purge. All mentions of advanced tech or spaceflight is made illegal by order of King Tafar III. Hundreds of wars have been fought over it, the Council of Events deemed too harmful to exist. Inquisitors are formed to seek out technology and destroy it. So basically, the King Tafar III, in minus 2,854 years ago, has decided that technology leads to wars because there's so little of it from the sheriff. There's so little of it left that cultures war over it, and he said, okay, no more, no mentions of the sheriff, no mentions of space flight. That's it. No more advancing technology. So that's why, in my mind, century after century after century, we're always still in this medieval thing because there are inquisitors out there who are destroying every bit of new technology. All right. So some years later, another batch of escape pods crash on Tovalyn. Inquisitors find the pods first. They kill and destroy everyone and destroy the pods. Minus 2,332, the War of Two Brothers. A huge war breaks out when food is short due to a terrible winter. It rages for 24 years and finally ends with the unification known under Emperor Z the Everlasting. 120 years after that, Emperor Z III dies. His leadership kept a fracturing country together, leaving no heir. The Council of Events attempts to assume power, but ultimately fails after the War of Six Fingers. Minus 1,544. Captain Ramirez is awakened again, this time by the remnants of the Council. Her pod was discovered. A war broke out between the Inquisitors and Council. She and her pod escaped and eventually relocated to under the castle. That's the castle that we're talking about. That's our main castle, not this one, but the main castle of this kingdom. So we're going to have to build Captain Ramirez as a pod at some point. Minus 850. Commander Merrick wakes to find peace throughout. The Council is nowhere to be found, but books with historical events are found everywhere. This is key. Somehow, the culture of the world values keeping tales of history alive above all else. In 7 years later, Commander Merrick wakes Captain Ramirez to tell her he has married and intends to live out his days in this time. So that'll be the end of Captain Merrick. Sorry, Andy, that's the end of your character, but there's lots of stories to tell from your point of view. The great Andy Days, pocket Minecraft YouTuber and budding Java YouTuber, is playing that role. Captain at minus 403, Captain Ramirez awakes when more escaped pods arrive. She reaches them before anyone else and manages to hide them in the desert. That's my mining desert. Confused to why technology is still firmly medieval in this time, she forms new arrivals into a group to learn why science isn't progressing, then returns to sleep. 25 years later, the Inquisitors did not disappear, but simply went into the shadows. Led by a dark figure, Trick Colm, the new arrivals from the sheriff discover he had frozen the advancement of new technology. That's what we already sort of talked about. And I'm going to leave the last. There's a lot more, because as we get closer to history, the giant big time jumps kind of stop. But I just want to give you an idea of sort of the scale of this world that we're building. I think it's going to be amazing. So whenever we get to the reboot here after episode 200, we're going to really be diving deep into the lore, and hopefully you're enjoying it and prepared for it, okay? That's a mouthful of stuff. I will see you all next episode from Bedrock Survival with Fix. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. I really do appreciate it. And have a great week. Okay, bye everybody.